Frank. What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Hey, we gonna party tonight or what?
Yeah, we are gonna party.
Well, where are we gonna party?
I don't know, somewhere.
Hey, we could go to the park.
Oh, no, we can't. The cops said they'd shoot us if we go back to the park.
Yeah, and I ain't in no mood to go tonight.
I like death.
This is Linnea Quigley, and welcome to Minute 66 of Do You Want to Party? The Movies by Minutes podcast for the 1985 groundbreaking horror classic, The Return of the Living Dead.
Thank you, Linnea, and I am your host, Troy, and joining me for this particular minute is my constant co-hosts of...
I'm Candice Lepage.
And I'm Dan the Goodland.
All right. Thank you, both of you, for joining for this particular episode. So this particular episode is going to start with a body rising from the mud and ends with calling for assistance. The rain continues to drench the graveyard, so much it oversaturated with liquid that the puddles form into small pools. The earth no longer able to hold its solid shape, a dark viscous mud covering the floor of the cemetery. The focal mound of dirt shifts and moves, shapeless at first, but soon revealing a form. The top of the heap showing to be a head, hair caked in the muck. Just below it, the form shifts in a separate direction as its entirety rises slowly. Shoulders are noticeable now as pale arms attached to them follow their upward movement. Mellow electric guitar with an otherworldly keyboard backing the sequence, mixed with the pouring water. As the body emerges, presenting more of its form, a familiar locket of a necklace swings into view. As the arms of the body cross in front of itself, the shot crossfades to a torso up close-up, also accented by a haunting remix of the lyrics by SSQ of Tonight. The emerging form's arms stretch and cross over its face as it continues to stand against the crossfade of a pulled-back shot to show the dirt-soiled pale flesh nude female form as it continues to rise from the newly formed large divot in the earth.
She's just doing her morning yoga. She's
Getting
doing
rid
her
of this
morning
page
stretches.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Waking up and having a good stretch.
Yeah.
The movement's fluid like slow motion, and its arms stretching skyward while it brings itself to stand up fully. Another crossfade towards its crisscrossing arms reaching towards the heavens. As we pan up, we notice the still falling H2O assisting in washing the newly interlinked hands clean. Witnessing the downpour from the practically black sky, distant clouds to one side highlighted by moonlight, while rain on the opposite hit with the same. As the music cue switches, we look towards a tableau of trees, all slick with moisture. However, nothing being added to the hours of rainfall seem to have ceased, stray droplets falling from the overhead branches. Meanwhile, out in the street, a very squeaky set of wheels of a cart rolls along the asphalt surface. A slight vision of fog rolling through down the street from the entryway of the Resurrection Cemetery, where Suicide's broken down vehicle sits still. A not-so-well-off gentleman is the one responsible for the movement of the previously mentioned cart, its carriage full of newspapers and bags, several other items stuffed into it almost overflowing the containment unit. A large black trash bag hangs on either side of the cart, being secured through the metal bars of the carriage. The man, wearing a worn cold weather jacket, a blue toque sticking over the top of his hoodie's hood, his scraggly ginger beard framing his face. He stops his shopping cart to retrieve an item of interest upon the ground. A wall of billowing thick fog rolls out of the once-locked tight entry doors of the Resurrection Cemetery. A chorus of voices mix with the lead words from the SSQ song as what appears hauntingly to form of fog sliding past each other to reveal a figure in between. Its red hair, a ghostly white skin being lit from above from an overhanging streetlight. Seeing the distant spirit-like vision, the man stands upright, abandoning what he was previously stopped to retrieve. Ghouls and Fiends, I present to you William Stout, the film's production designer. As the two fronts of fog flow in opposite directions, the alluring female form struts forward like only she can. Either surprise or fear, or probably a combination of both, lock the homeless, long-haired man in a staring stance. Behind him, another form of rolling fog grows. Still stepping with purpose, the nude, beside her leg warmer's form, makes her way closer, casting shadows, playing at the chance of seeing facial features. Her gray, because of the lighting skin, almost flawless, as more fog obscures her. As we pull in towards the unhoused man, his eyes widen and his jaw drops as the thing approaching finally is close enough to be seen fully. Popping upwards, Trash's face is contorted and demonic. Her short, spiked, shockingly red hair, the only thing recognizable. Her brow and eye sockets pronounced like a skull. Her jaw extended like a giant snake, beyond anything humanly possible. Her mouth clenching upon the victim's neck as she overpowers him and drags him down. Then, at her desk in the police department, the dispatcher, portrayed by Lee Drake, holds down the shift key to make her request to figure out.
We have a 1032 from EMS to repeat 2 paramedics.
And that's where we end our minute. So what do you guys got to add about this?
I had no idea that was William Stout.
Yeah, exactly. It's an uncredited role on IMDb, but if you go into his actual IMDb, it's listed. He's listed as it's the homeless man, I believe, is the title of his character, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, exactly.
It is questionable for someone that close to the leadership of the movie to be casting themselves in the role where they're mauled by a naked lady.
Exactly. Yeah.
The rain really cut back as it went through the trees.
It definitely did. Actually, if you look at that shot, just as it cuts from trash coming out of the ground and all that, and it shows the sky where the rain is falling, if you look at the rain on the very right hand of the screen, you will see that it is one of those, hey, it's going to go forward, and then it's going to go back, and it's going to go forward, and one more time. It's a little reverse just to stretch out whatever short little clip they have of falling rain. They actually loop it and all that sort of thing. So for a briefest of moments, the rain actually goes down and then comes back and then goes back down again, and then we cut to all of a sudden it stopped raining. So yeah,
well, it was effective because they went through the trees, so the trees made it look like it's suddenly stopping, and then when they went out beside the trees onto the street, it was done. Although the streets are pretty dry all of a sudden. That was kind of amusing.
They are, yes. Everything does seem to be dry enough for when it needs to be dry enough. I mean, obviously we're not going to have
it's the magic of movies.
Yeah, exactly. We've just tortured Linnea Quigley with, first of all, crawling out of the mud and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of her movie is all night shots. She's like, all of her stuff is at night. She's naked. It's cold.
Yeah, she must be frozen.
It might be August when they are filming this, but it is still nighttime and it is very cold for this poor woman. So yeah.
Her leg warmers are not doing a lot to keep her warm.
Nope.
Though it is interesting because her body makeup is like so completely one tone right now. So it's all that really like ghastly white. It makes her Barbie body
mm-hmm.
Her completely shaved mound with no labia, just really, really obvious. And it almost looks like she's just in head to toe prosthetics.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I
does. It
see. Every
does.
time I
Yes.
look at
Yeah.
it, I'm like, it looks like she's just like, because obviously her face is in prosthetics,
Hmm.
her crotch is in prosthetics,
Yeah.
but every single part of her body has the same exact white color. So it's like
Hmm.
she could just be wearing like one full body suit.
Yeah, exactly. At this point in the movie, except for when she crawls out of the mud, from that point on, when we see Trash, she is wearing one of two prosthetics. One is the extended jaw, which is what you see, and if you look closely enough at it, you will see Linnea's actual chin herself sitting
Hmm.
in the middle of the open mouth of the open jaw and all that sort of thing, which comes into
Yeah.
play later in a commentary track a little later on.
Yeah.
But the other one is basically a forehead and a cheekbone prosthetic to give her a
Yeah.
more ghastly look and all that sort of thing, which you get a good shot of it later on in the movie, like near
Yeah.
the actual end of the movie and all that sort of thing. But yeah, so you don't actually see the non version of Linnea from this point
Yeah.
on and all that sort of thing. So
She is
yeah.
also wearing a wig with a different
Hmm.
hairstyle and a different hair color.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Like
is that.
she
Yes.
has this
Well,
weird dramatic change, which of course people try to sort of like retcon. It's like, well, it's because she was dancing naked in the acid rain, so she got it worse, and then she
and
drowned in the puddle, so she
and
got
it
more of it.
magically healed her up from all the bites and nibbles and
Yeah.
tears and
Yeah, exactly. Which actually, as we might as well bring up now. Yes. We do know that Trash died for her to be reborn the way she was. That goes to say that I don't think anyone heals from the trioxin uh, gassing or whatever and all that sort of
Mhm.
thing. So I'm pretty sure that my point from earlier in the podcast is that Trash got drowned. She did not
Yeah.
get eaten. She did not
She didn't
get
get eaten to death
no,
by
no,
a
exactly.
bunch of
She
men,
got
which is what
surrounded by
she
a bunch of
wanted.
old men like she wanted to. She did get yes, her Chekhov's fantasy did kind of sort of come true and all that sort of thing. But because of her body not having any bites, not having any wounds and all that sort of thing, she definitely got drowned in the mud and all that sort of thing. Hence the reason why she's born from the mud and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like so.
I still think it's because they just wanted to make her look awesome, and so they're like, well, she can't have any bites. She's got to be like, because even the like she's not, her face is not that of a zombie. Her face is that of some sort of like monster.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So, they just wanted to, which is fine. You know what? Movies are allowed to do that.
Oh yeah, no,
I
well, it was the
as
80s too, so that was
yeah,
a gratuitous years.
as I've heard like writers say, like never let like continuity or any of that sort of stuff get in the way of a good story. Just like don't even worry about it.
for sure, for sure. And again, yes, you're going to show off the pristine form of Linnea Quigley. You're not going to put any like bite marks or tear marks or anything like that. First of all, you're not torturing this woman any more than you already are.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah.
to do full body white paint to begin with, and then facial prosthetics. Come on, people. And then
Yeah.
the wig and whatnot. So yeah, so there you go.
But the timing cue on this, then the
Hmm.
SSQ, it's technically it's a whole different song called Trash's Theme, but it is a
Yes.
little bit of a remix.
Hmm.
But it's so good. It's great music and it just works so perfectly with the fog rolling out and her showing up. It's like the best strip show you're ever gonna see.
Beautifully constructed the sequence and all that sort of thing. And I mean, and again, for what this movie is, it's surprising how well this sequence is pulled off. And it is one of those sequences that stands out. You recognize the scene, you know what's happening in it and all that sort of thing. And it's another defining moment of this movie, which this movie is riddled with it, as we are now, I guess, introduced to yet another feature creature, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we have now rebirthed Trash, I guess.
Yeah. And she's walking there and she's showing everything off and flaunting it to the one guy. And then it's like, yeah, see all this? Too bad. Not yours. You're mine, in
Exactly.
fact.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, so over on the commentary track, which again is with the writer and director Dan O'Bannon and William Stout, as we mentioned, the production designer. So Dan O'Bannon starts off enthusiastically by saying, "This is good. Out of the mud she comes." As Candice is pretty sure she can hear Dan O'Bannon's voice in her head saying it the way Dan O'Bannon says it.
Yeah.
But it's more of an affectionate way than than you would. It's not the lecherous Dan O'Bannon.
Yes,
it's very
he changed in his older age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He then adds a poor Linnea and how this was the type of scene that shows this person is a trooper. William Stout jokingly scolds Dan O'Bannon by putting Linnea through so much, and how it was amazing and how it was amazing as the homeless man pushes his shopping cart. Dan O'Bannon mentions this is one of those actors that plays bums and winos a lot. William Stout changes the subject to talk about Linnea's mask that he had sculpted. In the middle of the sequence, they both realize she's got two different looks, and how he was responsible for the one with the overly open mouth.
Yeah, I've got that screen. I got that's on my screen right now. Just the scene with her open mouth about to attack.
Yeah, exactly. Later on, when they're swarming the police line, you get another good shot of the open mouth with Linnea's chin right in the center of the open piece and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
According to the script, and again, we are using the story and screenplay by Dan O'Bannon. We are dealing with the revision from October 1983, which is based on a story and screenplay by John Russo, Rudy Rickey, and Russell Steiner. Exterior, cemetery, night, hard rain. The rain has turned the graveyard into a sea of mud. As we watch, something begins to rise out of the black slime. Something unfolding like a big muddy flower, up and out of the mud. The rain pouring down begins to wash the mud from the thing, revealing white flesh underneath, until gradually it becomes apparent that it is Dee Dee. Up out of the mud like the birth of Venus. There she stands, the rain washing the mud from her body, totally nude except for a pair of muddy leg warmers. The color of her skin has changed from a healthy pink glow to a ghastly alabaster white, but her body still retains its voluptuousness. Her face, however, has hollowed and shriveled until it looks like the Phantom of the Opera, an exquisitely erotic but at the same time ghastly image. Exterior street, adjoining cemetery, night, drizzle. The rain has slowed to a drizzle. A transcendent, down on his luck, comes hobbling down the opposite side of the street. He's 40, going on 70. Matted, yellowish gray hair. Stubble chin, with a seamy face that life has carved its care on. His clothing is shabby and skimpy. And he hugs himself as if hobbling along to whatever sad destination. Suddenly across the street, a figure steps out of the light cast by the streetlights. It is Dee Dee standing in the arch entrance of the graveyard, in her muddy leg gray warmers. She is a startling sight. It takes the transient a moment to notice her. Out of the corner of his eye, when he sees her, his head snaps around, and his pace slows. He does not altogether stop walking. He is torn between two courses of action, stopping dead where he is and staring at Dee Dee, or continuing on his way, perhaps in a hurry. As a result, he sort of hesitantly moves along the sidewalk, staring, hypnotized, at Dee Dee on the other side of the pavement. She starts crossing the street towards him, her movements those of a slinky lizard, very sensuous, very predatory. The closer he gets, the clearer her face gets, and as it gets clearer, it gets uglier. But it isn't until she's all the way across the street that he can see how ghastly her face really is. And by then, she's thrown her arms around his neck and bit the back of his head off. Cut to interior, police station, dispatch room, night, drizzle. The dispatcher sits at the little console, wearing her headphones, surrounded by other dispatchers, phones ringing, and people talking at the same time. Dispatcher, interradio. We have a code 5 from the fire department. 2, repeat, 2 paramedic vehicles missing. Now, once again, with this version of the script, like we have mentioned before, when the name of Dee Dee comes up, we are actually referring to Trash, and if I ever mention the name Meat, we are actually talking about Spider. So when we go to the work print comparison, which is where they take the full movie when they shoot it completely and then compile it all into one giant film, they then edit it down to get to what we have as a final version. So when we are dealing with the final version of our film, we are dealing this particular minute, which is minute 65 to 66. In the work print, we are actually dealing with minute 76:42 to 78:21. So we have a little bit of extras and all that sort of thing. So in the work print, as Trash rises from the ground, we get a longer shot of her face just at the end with her arms up. The rain washing the mud covering from her face, so we get to actually see her wash off a little more and all that sort of thing. Whereas obviously they cut that because later on, all of a sudden, because she doesn't have prosthetics, doesn't have the prosthetic forehead like I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Instead of the cloud shot, we see the rain falling on the muddy ground. And we also get footage of the homeless guy going through garbage cans, pulling something out and putting it into a shopping cart. He then pulls the classic bottle in the paper bag and takes a drink from it. And as the fog rolls into the shot, he then pushes the cart off the sidewalk onto the street. Then the shot on the final film where he stops in the middle of the road starts off a bit longer. However, except for Trash stepping from the cemetery gates, she approaches the bum from a shot set up behind the man and his cart as Trash walks within the billowing fog. Plus, there's no shot of the actual attack and the takedown. And then there's no footage of the there's no footage of the snake-jawed Trash, which means that pretty much close-up was probably a pickup later on and all that sort of thing. And then the footage of the dispatcher in the police station is pretty much the same as it is, however brief that it is. So there we go with that. All right, so that is pretty much what I got to say about that particular minute. You guys got anything you want to add to this particular episode?
Well, it does dip into the police station the minute you like.
It does, yeah. At the very end, we do, but in our next episode, we go into more description about that particular sequence and all that sort of thing.
It is funny. It is kind of jarring because it's really the first time that we're taken anywhere outside of this sort of small area of the medical supplies and the cemetery.
Yeah, there are 3 locations. This one's in the outside.
You forgot about Colonel Glover's house.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. But that's like so long ago. I think that was last year.
Oh no, it totally was long ago. Totally was long ago. And it's even on another coast. It's on another coast as well.
I haven't rewatched the first few minutes in like ages.
I watched it about 24 hours ago.
True.
It's fresh in the mind, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is true. Because since Glover's scene and all that sort of thing at the very beginning of the minute, like we're talking just after the closing credits. Basically, it goes from the opening credits to his household and him with his wife and all that sort of thing, and then we go back to the punks driving in Suicide's car and all that sort of thing, and we stay in that area for the movie up until this point. And yes,
with those same characters, really, right? Like we don't
add anyone new.
Really,
nope.
You know. Maybe the EMS driver you could consider like a new character at one point, but
I mean, technically at that point we haven't introduced Ernie yet, but he does get added to the cast very shortly after and all that sort of thing. But yeah, exactly, yeah, and it is suddenly a jolt to a different location.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what's going on? So yeah,
There's another woman in this movie?
Exactly. All right. So thank you, Candice, and thank you, Dan, for joining me for this particular return of episode.
Yeah.
We got a favorite of ours coming back into the movie and all that sort of thing. Audience members, thank you for joining me. Be sure to check out all of our social medias over this past weekend. That would be Planet Geek Pod on Instagram, if you want to check out there mostly. You'll see the adventure that Daniel and I had as zombies going to meet Linnea Quigley at London Comic Con this past weekend, which was a fantastic time and all that sort of thing. It
was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
I
and
also
you guys were all made up. You looked great.
You were all made up.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
We even went to dinner all made up.
You get a lot of looks when you're walking in the middle of downtown London, Ontario, and people are like, "What are you doing here
That
like
was
this?"
the university go-to, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everyone saw us.
And just to give everyone a little bit of a heads up, next week is also going to be another special episode. I actually have John Philbin himself being my special guest co-host in that particular episode, the gentleman who portrays Chuck, as we have an episode that centers around Chuck and Casey and all that sort of thing. So he was fantastic to grace me with the amount of time that he did and all that sort of thing. So it turned out to be a great episode. So be sure to tune in next week for that. It's a little bit on the long side, but do yourself a favor. I put a lot of stuff at the end of that particular episode about me and him just talking about his career and all that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, but I mean, it's going to be front loaded with the actual episode about the movie, and then after the credits, we have a little bit extra about the time that we just started talking about his fantastic career and all that sort of thing. So again, another great episode. Still looking to work out a time to get with Miguel Nunez after this particular weekend. Linnea Quigley is hopefully going to be, we're going to try and work out a time to get, if, schedules worked out. So hopefully we can get her back in. And like I said, I'm just got the feelers out there for everyone else to come back or join me for first time as well. So that's what we got for the near future of this still trucking through movie and all that sort of thing. All right. So once again, thank you, Candice. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, audience. I got nothing else to say, but see you next Wednesday.
You've just been listening to a Planet Geek production of Do You Want to Party? A Movies by Minute podcast of the 1985 The Return of the Living Dead. Please be sure to subscribe, download, comment, share, rate, and review. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. X, former Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Search for Planet Geek Pod. Or send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Our closing music is provided by Night Chill. See the show notes for more details. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and farewell, fiends.
And joining me for this particular minute is my constant co-hosts of...
We needed to pick a straw or something.
Exactly. Yeah, because you have to both
Candice
introduce...
Lepage, okay? We got to do it that way.
All right. And then I guess I'm Dan, the Goodland.
Hold it. We can do that again.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it if you want to take that over again.
You just need to we need to decide who's starting.
Okay, we'll do it.
Director, Mr. Director.
We'll do it alphabetically by first name.
Got it.
Have you got it? Are you sure?
Yes.
You gonna stop giggling before you start saying your name?
Yeah,
yep.
Troy first. Yeah.
It does.
And
looked like it.
Pile of mud gets messed up, and
It kind of does a little.
I have the word Aries hands. So oversaturated with liquid.
Slowly,
the rain continues to drench the.
Whoa, revealing the hot bod of.
All right, let's. Okay, I'll start this again. All right. All right, so editing aside, that's going to come out really smoothly and all that sort of thing. So a little peek behind the curtain that I kind of stumbled through that. I don't know what happened with the situation, but I guess it happens occasionally. All right, there we go. All right, that was sort of. I am embarrassed with how bad that went across. Holy crap! I apologize for making both of you sit through that.
I don't know what you mean.